Well, hello everyone out there. I don't know, I'm just, I guess, venting, trying to get this out. I've talked to family, friends, and it still just seems to be stuck inside me. Recently had my girlfriend break up with me. It's been about 2 months now. She did stay living with me for most of that time. She just left Saturday. And it was rough. It was hard. I was trying to look up everything and trying to learn. Because I didn't understand. Because all she told me was she didn't see this going anywhere. And about a week after that, she was seeing someone. I don't know if it started before she decided to say she didn't see things going anywhere. I mean, it hurts. We were together for about 4 years. I mean, it started out bumpy when I first met her because I screwed up. I had an old profile on some site that I had used. I was trying to catch an ex who had told me she had gotten off all the sites, but she come to find out she hadn't, and so it was over and forgot about this thing. And then one day I got a message that someone had liked a picture of mine on there, so I jumped on it, and just a bot. It was just a crazy bot that was messaging me. But I decided to jump on, flip through it, and then I ran across this woman and messaged her. We talked a bit and talked for a few months, and then finally I just felt like she was someone special, and I couldn't keep this charade. It was just the pictures. Everything else was the real me. All our conversations. And so I told her. And she was upset and hurt and cried and told me to leave her alone and never talk to her again. And I did that. I deleted her number and figured I would never hear from her again. A little bit of time had passed, and she called me, and she was crying and worried because her daughter had gotten sick and had MRSA just on her chin, and she was scared. And we talked for quite a while that day, and she felt better after we got off the phone. And so I told her I hope it goes well, and I'm glad she felt comfortable reaching out to me, and left it at that. And then we text a little here and there, and she told me we were just going to have a friendship, nothing more. And I was fine with that, because I'd rather have had her as a friend than lose her altogether. And we talk and text here and there, and then a couple of months passed, and she had texted me and said that she had something to tell me, and it was important. And I was like, oh, okay, well, I'll talk to you later that night. And I was freaking out. I mean, I had so much going, because I knew she started seeing someone. I don't know if it was serious or not. And so finally the night came, she called me, and we talked. And just lots of small talk. And then finally, she was like, well, I have to tell you something. And right then, my heart just kind of like sank, like when you're on the roller coaster and everything just drops real quick. And I just thought she was going to tell me that she was going to be with this guy and that we couldn't talk anymore. So I set for that. And then she told me that she couldn't see this guy anymore because she's had someone else on her mind day in, day out, and she can't get this person off her mind. And I didn't get it at first because, you know, us guys, we right over our heads at times. And, I mean, honestly, I can't read between the lines. For me, it's black and white. And then finally I caught on, and I'm like, well, who's this guy? He's got to be a really lucky guy. And I was just playing along with her, and I'm like, well, who is it? And she's, you really need me to tell you? And I go, no, I know. And she's a Jew. And I mean, I was happy. I was excited. And from there, we just kept talking more and more. And as the months went by, it was a long-distance relationship. She is in Florida. I'm in Colorado. And then she brought her daughter into the mix, and I would tell her daughter good night. Every night when we talk, she'd put her daughter to bed, and I'd tell her good night. And on the weekends and stuff, we would video chat and be the three of us talking, and we just started getting closer and closer. And then there was just days when I just had this weird feeling in my stomach that something wasn't right for her. So, me being silly and never doing anything like this before, I would send her flowers, and they would get there like perfectly timed, like there was something in the air just making this stuff happen. I mean, it'd make her whole bad week just feel better. And I remember we talked about her daughter's autism, and I wanted to know more about it. So I looked online and dug and researched, and finally found a book that everyone was recommending was a good one as your first learning about it. And I bought it, and I must have read that thing like 100 times, just making sure I knew. And then finally I figured it was time that we had to meet. So I had bought myself a plane ticket to fly down to Florida and visit with her, and flew down. And I still remember coming down that escalator at Tampa Airport, and she was standing there. And when I first saw her, I was just like, I was amazed. I mean, she was this, it was just like, I don't know how you explain it. I mean, I just can't come up with the words. I was just blown away, weak in the knees. And we hugged and grabbed my bags and went to her car and headed to her house and stopped and got something to eat. And we got there, and her daughter was there, and I met her dogs, and right away her daughter was instantly drawn to me and the dogs. And I mean, it felt good. I mean, it felt right. And I just had this feeling like she wasn't feeling it herself. Because I had slept on her couch the whole visit. But, I mean, she had finally told me that she just didn't want her daughter seeing me in her bed, thinking, in case this didn't work out. I mean, it was our first time meeting, so I understood, but I mean, it's hard that first time you're meeting someone in person. And I mean, it was a good trip. It wasn't great. It was fabulous. Honestly, when they took me to the airport and I got on that plane, I honestly thought that was the last time I'd ever hear from her again. And I got back home late. Well, late by their time, because it's probably around 1 o'clock in the morning their time. And so I went about my day. I got off the plane and went home. Had to change, go into work that same time. So the next day I pretty much was out cold for most of the day. And finally I heard from her when I woke up and started talking more. And we just started clicking more and more. It was something that was natural. And then she told me that they were going to come out here to visit during her daughter's spring break. And I was excited. I couldn't wait. I still remember I was so nervous picking them up at the airport. I remember that day I got off work, came home, and I was making sure everything was clean and picked up and ready for them to come. And I knew it was great. We did a lot of fun things, and it was a great trip. I mean, she met my family. They welcomed her. My sister and her wife watched her daughter one night so I could take her out, and that was great. It was a fabulous night. And then it was time for them to go back home, and that was hard. Because I still remember just the long distance and everything, how I had this one pillow I'd always sleep with, and I'd hug that pretending it was her, because I just wanted to know what it'd be like to wake up next to her every morning. And then they got back home, and she had sent me a card and told me that she was still thinking and that we had to come to a decision on someone moving, because we didn't think we could keep this up. It'd be too hard with her daughter and her coming out here and trying to do that. So, and she finally figured, since I was closer to my family, and she just had her father living near her, and job opportunities were a bit better out here, so they decided to move out here. And here's how she had told me she was going to move out here. Yes, I still have it. I hope you guys can see it. Yeah, that's all she told me. She had sent it for my birthday. And best birthday present ever. Then they got out here and it was great. I mean, we were talking about a future. Still remember before she decided, are you ready for this? Because the whole package. Excuse me. And I told her, yes, I told you. I'm in this for the long haul. You, your daughter, and the 2 dogs. And it was great when she first got here, and we were moving things in, and had a little hiccup because it took forever for the moving company to bring her stuff. I think it probably came like a month later. And she was busy getting lots of stuff done and getting her daughter ready to register for school here. And she took a job with a place she had volunteered at just because she wanted the money to take care of bills, and her daughter's birthday was coming up, and so she took it, and it seems like we just kind of fell into a routine. I was working different from what she was working. I mean, I spent a lot of time with her daughter, and her daughter got really close to me. I remember her daughter telling me that she felt like I was her dad, and I felt like she was my daughter. I wouldn't let anyone hurt her. And I thought things were going along fine. But she would always tell me I didn't communicate, I didn't talk to her. And it was just hard because I felt like she always had that one foot out the door, and I was afraid to open up and let her get really close to me because I didn't want to get hurt. And in the end, I ended up getting hurt. And I'm working on trying to get over it. It's like you just want to get this off your chest. So I'm guessing that's why I'm making this video, because I mean, I still love her. I still care about her. I worry about her. I worry about her daughter. I remember when she walked out the door on Saturday and she didn't say a word to me. Just left. Her daughter told me goodbye and hugged me and was crying and said she'd miss me, and I know the dogs were feeling sad as well. I mean, they stayed around me most of the day. Those sad puppy dog guys. But I don't know, I guess this is just a way for me to try and let her go. Because I don't see it ever working out. I mean, she's back in Florida now, so. But all I can do is I've been working on myself. Also, had recently had a major surgery, had to get a below the knee amputation. I had a really bad infection in my foot. So I'm just slowly, I guess, it's a new start for me. I guess we just always want what we can't have, and you always tell yourself you don't want to go through life living with the what ifs. But I guess this will probably be my biggest what if ever. But thank you guys for any of you out there who watch this. If anyone's interested in updates of how things are moving on, you can let me know. But I know it's time to move on. And it's hard. But thank you, everyone. Ramblings of a fool. You guys have a great night.